Hello everyone, I am KHEmblem, or just Emblem for short, and welcome to the video. Today, I'm going to be starting a brand new series of playing through RuneScape 3 without a guide. I used to play RuneScape quite a bit, starting about 15 years ago I believe, and I haven't played my main account in about a year and a half, 2 years now. So I figured, why not give it another try, start a brand new account, and try going through the game without any sort of guide at all. So that means I won't be using RuneScape Wiki, or looking up answers through Google, or anything like that. I'm just going to go through whatever's inside the game itself. But you guys don't want to just sit here at a login screen, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright. And now welcome back, or I guess for you guys it was only a few seconds, but I had a lot of trouble getting this thing set up. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this an Iron Man. I know RuneScape 3 is well known for having a bunch of microtransactions and all the cosmetic stuff, so I want to get rid of all that pay-to-win stuff and just play it vanilla as I can, essentially. I don't want to constantly be bombarded with stores and microtransactions and stuff like that. But I'm also not going to do hardcore because that's not really what I'm here for. I'm here to play the game, enjoy it, and experience it almost like it's the first time again. Now, as for my character, let's see. I'll probably just go for male. If I remember correctly, there's that one quest that requires you to be female briefly, but we'll get to that when it comes to it. I've always enjoyed simpler hairstyles. This one looks nice. And we'll go with some green hair. As for clothing, I'm not too interested in all these options, mostly because I know it's going to be covered by armor and cosmetics most of the time. That looks kind of cool. Just some basic pants. We'll go with that. And match. Yeah, looks like a regular warrior. As for facial hair, I try and keep it clean shaven, so we'll go with that. Alright. So, like I said, I haven't played in about 2 years. I know that they added a new combat style before I actually left. But beyond that, I don't really know what's been going on. So, looks like we'll be going with I've played before, but not in a while. Hey, Tutorial Island is back. I know they got rid of it, then they brought it back, then it's always been a bit of a mess. Now, I'm just going to skip through all of the text dialogue here because I've watched plenty of other content creators, and I remember most of the stuff that you have to do during this tutorial. But I imagine once we get to later quests, since I'm not going to be looking at the RuneScape wiki at all, I'm going to have to be paying attention to what people say, otherwise I might get lost. One thing I really enjoy that they added is the tool belt, though. It's so nice. Unlike in old school where you have to grab everything and keep it in your inventory. I know one of the first things I'm going to do is make sure I fill that up as quickly as possible. And of course the lodestones as well. Getting free teleports all around the map is always a good thing. There's also probably other things I'm not even remembering that I'll have to unlock and do. And of course there's the quest lists itself. I've always enjoyed quests. It's one of those things about RuneScape that's always drawn me to it. Because a lot of quests are fun, quirky, and there's also some decent puzzles in there. Although I know There are some people that do hate quests, but I'm not one of them. And we have the mining and smithing rework. That was pretty nice, actually. While the mining is better, I'm not a huge fan of the smithing itself, because it's pretty slow. And it's just a matter of heating up the item, working on it, heating up the item, working on it. A bit more tedious than the almost instant crafting from before. I wonder if they brought back Tutorial Island just so you could have nostalgia for that Under the Sea quest that puts this place underwater due to a curse. Because I know I'm going to have to go do that and get that oyster unlocked eventually. It probably is better than just being dumped in Burthorpe, though. Or that's how you say it. I've never been good at pronunciations. Now, when I've played before, I got slightly into endgame bossing, but I never got all that far. I believe the hardest one I fought was Araxor. Managed to defeat that a handful of times, although it was extremely difficult. And for Glacior, I did just the beginner mode with almost none of the mechanics. I was starting to learn more about it, but never got all that far. What I did do was quite a bit of barrows, though. Clanmate of mine was trying to complete the collection log, and I decided to also try my hand at it. Didn't quite finish, but I got quite a few of the pieces. So that'll be another goal of this count. Try and do some endgame bossing with the equipment I obtained by myself. Should be interesting. Oh, we're not going to kill a chicken? Alright. So I guess instead of killing the chicken and getting that started, they then have you home teleport to Burthorpe. Interesting. And that is the first tutorial. I believe we still need to learn about the combat bar. But here we are, back in Gillinor once again. Should be a fun time. And yep, here's part 2 of the tutorial. It looks like our first task is go talk to our Slayer Master Tyrell. Probably tell us about the trolls attacking the area. I'm here for adventure. And telling us about the war here in Burthorpe. And it's always a strange mix of sometimes super serious topics of dead people sitting on in front of trees, and also lots of puns and jokes, all depending on the type of quest you're doing at the time. But finally time to start working on those skills. Oh, look at all those ones on the side. My other account just barely had maybe reached the max guild where everything is level 99. Still didn't get all the 120s that there are. It's going to be quite the grind, but I'll get there eventually, hopefully. I know some of these skills are a lot more of a grind than others. To tell the truth, my favorite skill used to actually be agility. It was my first 99. I know a lot of people hate it, and it can be tedious and boring, but for some reason I found it quite relaxing. The one I'm not looking forward to is fire making. That one I do find boring. But at least it's pretty quick. Let's see. Summoning, gonna be time consuming, especially as an Iron Man. Same with Prevention, but first I gotta get those other skills up to level 80. And then Archaeology, it's not too bad. And then of course there's a new combat skill, which I am looking forward to trying out. Eventually. Let's see. What else have we got? Oh, Herbology is also going to be a bit of a tedious one as an Iron Man. But we'll hopefully get there. First, I gotta buy that membership. It's the other thing I had to do in between episodes. However, quests should certainly help me out, as there's definitely a lot of good quest rewards from various different ones. If there's any specific quests you want to see or any goals you think I should go for, just go ahead and let me know down in the comments. In the meantime, I'll just work on what I feel like working on, which includes getting those skills up and working on those quests to get that questcape. I'm looking forward to getting through the quest again, and I'm also somewhat looking forward to clue scrolls. I've always enjoyed a clue scroll, but I always use the wiki for anagrams and such. So that might be a little difficult. Already up to level 5. Herring, chocolate milk, and the Heim crab. Alright, looks like next is mining some copper and tin. Get ourselves some armor, so we're not quite as vulnerable. Not that bronze armor actually does that much, but better than nothing. Mining and smithy is definitely going to be important as an Iron Man, as that is high-level equipment that I can get for free, essentially, with the Masterwork armor. Although the trimmed Masterwork armor is probably a bit out of reach for me. I consider myself a above-average gamer, but I don't remember exactly what it needs, but I know it was definitely some endgame bosses that you had to figure out and kill by yourself. But maybe I'll improve my skills and that'll be one of our goals. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Mining level 2. It's gonna be a while until I know exactly what I do and don't remember about this game. I do watch some content creators, however they mostly do old school, like Settled and his Swamplatic series. I've also been watching the Gillinor Games new season. I didn't watch it before, but it's actually quite interesting. I believe it's by Soup RS, in case you guys are interested in checking that out. It's kind of a Survivor style game show set in RuneScape where they do challenges and eliminate people. Another person I used to watch was Dark World Order, who started a RuneScape 3 series a long time ago. Haven't checked out his channel in quite some time though. Wonder what he's been up to. But I'll probably have to avoid it for now, because I plan on playing this blind. That also means no watching other RuneScape 3 content creators. I'll probably still watch some old school though. Let's go ahead and make that full suit of armor. Oh, that also reminds me, that means any new bosses that I try and do, I'm not going to have any video guides or anything for mechanics. Gotta prepare for a lot of death in the future. But we'll have some time before we actually get to those. Level 2 smithing. Once I get through the basic tutorials, I'm not sure if I'm going to immediately start on some questing, or if I should work on some skills first. Maybe do some beginner slayer, get some fishing going, or cooking up for food, or even just start smithing and mining so I can get some decent armor as I level up my other stats. Decisions, decisions. Plate body done. And now for those plate legs. Or... oh, right, the ore box. Forgot about that. Also an extremely useful item. I think the main reason I prefer RuneScape 3 over old school is all of these quality of life changes that they made over the years. Not to say that old school is bad in any way, but I do prefer the comforts of a simpler life. Alright. So now that we have the ore box, we can go and quickly gather up the rest of our ingredients for bronze armor. I know RuneScape's a game of a lot of grinds. I was thinking of doing maybe some podcast style videos when I have large grinds to do. have RuneScape in the background while talking about experiences with like anime or my D&D stories. Also have a very interesting Baldur's Gate 3 story if you guys are interested in hearing about that. Let's see, level 2 was smelt them 25% faster. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but RuneScape is often a second monitor content for many people like myself, unless you're doing something complicated like certain quests or endgame bossing. That can require quite a bit of attention. But it can also be fun to just put it to the side to do some agility trading or something more long-winded like mining, and just sort of let it run while you're listening to other things. I know one of my go-tos was the Critical Role podcast. It's part of what got me interested in D&D in the first place. Beyond that, a RuneScape video is also a great thing to watch while playing RuneScape. Alright, 3 Smith and eat it faster. Looks like we're getting close to the end of this grind of a tutorial. Just a bit more. Alright. That's now done. Deposit all of those bars. Put on our new armor. Warrior. Or banking. Let's do the banking one since that's on the way. Are you guys messy bankers or clean bankers? I try and get my bank set up pretty nicely so I can at least find stuff quickly. The bank tabs and placeholders make that a bit easier now. Don't need the ore box for now. Probably go ahead and take the tramp, just in case the trolls want to be annoying. There's 10 coins. And then Way of the Warrior. Food, helmet, melee weapon. And additional armor. Combat techniques. Ah, there it is. The thing that separates old school from RuneScape 3. I don't hate it. I don't love it either. I do think the large amount of abilities can hold it back sometimes, as it gets a little bit complicated from time to time. But once you get used to it, and especially if you use Revolution, it's not too bad. It's not quite as simple as the point and click of old school, but we also don't have to worry about the prayer flicking that they do, and the tab switching. I never really could get used to it. Alright, now just defeat 5 trolls. We're getting pretty close to the end of this tutorial now. If I remember correctly, it should just be this, and then a sort of boss creature. You know, they made this whole cave area with the different types of trolls, but I think I've only ever been in here like twice. And since we're using melee, it has us go to the chuckers, which are weak to stabbing? Yes. I'm gonna have to get used to those symbols. Since I'm not looking at the wiki, I'm just gonna have to rely on whatever the game tells me things are weak to and adapt accordingly. Might be a little difficult, but we'll see how it goes. Ah yes, another nice quality of life is the area loot. It's so nice to be able to pick up everything together. It's especially useful while doing group grinding, like in the Abyss, where you're surrounded by drops constantly and only want to pick out a few select ones. So I'm curious what you all have as your favorite combat style. I of course haven't tried the new one yet, but between melee, range, and mage, I was always partial to range. Mainly the dual crossbows here in RuneScape 3. But you guys let me know what you enjoyed, and if the new combat style is any good. And just like that, our first Slayer task is completed. Just gotta go turn it in. Another difficulty I'm gonna have is knowing what drops what items. I remember some, but I don't exactly know the drop rates. What'll be super rare or easy to obtain. I think I can get the drop list of at least the Slayer monsters and the bosses. At least I'm pretty sure those are in the logs. Yes, Revolution. That's the way I normally play it. I'm not skilled enough to do all the abilities on my own. I will do my thresholds and ultimates myself, but the basics can go on Revolution. At least other than AoEs, those I'll need to do myself. Oh, once it's on the secondary. I'll put some other abilities on the bar as well, like eating food or prayers. Let's see. They set up with the slice first. Then the basic slice, or lesser dismemberment first. Then the slice. Then the sever. Then the backhand. So let's see. The slice does more damage if they are stunned or bound, so it's always good to put that behind the backhand. Beyond that, we've got Lesser Dismember, takes 15 seconds to recharge, so it's probably fine to put that first, especially since it does bleed. And then, so bleed them, then sometimes stun them, slice afterwards, and then if I got nothing else left, do a little sever. I think that's about right. Now that you're familiar with your abilities, you need a proper challenge. There's a really big troll called Morningstar in this cave to the north. Go take them down. So now we have our first boss, if you really want to call it that. It's not much different. I've got the full armor. Should be able to take him out pretty easily. On to God, Morningstar. Small hit start. $41. Not too bad. 200. Gotta keep an eye on that health. Don't want to die to a beginner boss. But he's going down pretty quick. Just a bit more. Be stunned. And here we go. Alright, just the one hit. Gives us an offhand. And a prayer level. Actually, a couple prayer levels. Nice. Unlocks Burst of Strength. Not going to be too useful at the beginning. But once we get up to those curses and at least protection prayers, then it'll be more useful. Terrell, I have finished your task. Praise me. You defeated the leader, Didn't think you'd survive. Hey. Just give me my rewards. Slayer collection log as well. I'll need that to keep track of my conquests. Let's see, you have anything for trade? Oh, yeah, spike gauntlets. Alright, with that, I believe we are at a good stopping point. I'll take a bit of time to set up my layout, and I will see you all next time.